Welcome to Jacked and Rich episode 1, the series where I take you along my day-to-day process of how I plan on getting as jacked as possible and as rich as possible in the shortest amount of time possible so that I can weaponize those two tools as well as my relationship with God in order to make the biggest positive impact on the world that I possibly can and eventually create the largest educational platform on the planet with my brother in arms, which you guys will inevitably meet one day, and I will more than likely mention many times over the course of this series. But if you have never seen or heard of me before, my name is Vince. Full name is Vincent Rienzi, but most people call me Vince. I'm from Northeastern Ohio. I currently work as a manager for a supplement company, GNC. I'm honestly just going to use this series to not only hold myself accountable, but to extract as many possible lessons as I can over the course of taking myself from the level that I'm at to the level that I want to go, physically, financially, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, in my relationships, every single aspect of my life, to that level that I want to get to, which is the top, and I will settle for nothing less, and I'm willing to do whatever is required in order to get there. So phase 1 of Jacked and Rich is obviously getting jacked, because I truly believe that building the physique of your dreams is the foundation and the cornerstone and honestly the first stepping stone of success in every other aspect of your life. And the ultimate goal that I have set for myself physique wise right now is 200 pounds at 8% body fat. I am 5'7", shout out to all the short kings out there. And when I set this original goal for myself on August 1st, and it's currently August 21st, on August 1st, I was about 182 pounds and about 14% body fat. From August 1st to August 9th, I went from 182 to 189. And then on the night of August 10th, I got food poisoning. And I went from 189 back down to about 183 in one night because I was yakking because I had food poisoning. So I woke up on August 11th at 183. And then from August 11th until August 19th, I went from 183 pounds to 200 pounds on the dot. Now, obviously, I wasn't 8% body fat. I was more so, I would say 15 or 16% body fat. But I put on 16 pounds in roughly about 9 days, which is a lot. And I did it in a way which I was essentially force feeding myself with 2 massive meals a day. The first one, my only goal was to hit 100 grams of protein in the first meal. And then the second meal was just kind of filling in the blanks, making sure I hit my protein goal for the day of 1 gram per pound of body weight. And then, like I said, just filling in the blanks with whatever complex carbs and healthy fats that I could get my hands on, or whatever my mom cooked. From there, on August 19th, I started my hyper cut, which is going to be about a 4 to 5 week cut where I'm intending on losing about 3 to 5 pounds per week. Now, in those 2 days, I've lost a significant amount of water weight. I went from 200 pounds to 192 in literally 2 days. So I lost 8 pounds in 2 days. But understand the fact that a lot of that is water weight. And that's just because I was holding a shit ton of water. I was drinking like 2.5 to 3 gallons of water a day. I was taking creatine at the time. Now I'm off creatine, so I'm not holding as much water because I'm trying to stay as dry as possible during this cut. But yeah, that is the plan. And then on the nutrition side of things, the training aspect of it, transitioning from the build phase to the cut phase, nothing changes. The intensity is still the same, extremely hard. Every set's a failure. The volume stays the same, the sets stay the same, the reps stay the same, everything stays the same. We're still going to continuously progressive overload as much as we can during this cut as well. But the main change comes on the nutrition side, obviously. Now, instead of having 2 big meals a day, I'm going back to my old style of eating, which if you guys have followed the channel before, you guys know that I absolutely love the concept of eating 1 meal a day. And in that 1 meal a day, I have one goal, which is just hit my protein. Anything outside of that is fair game, honestly. Now, obviously, I have other endeavors as well that make me have to stay extremely sharp throughout the day. So that's why I love one meal a day, is because fasting over the course of the entire day allows me to keep my brain sharp. It allows me to enter a state of ketosis and burn that fat during the cut, which is extremely important. And then on top of that, I'm a fat kid at heart, so I love food. So it's like a reward at the end of the day where I essentially just get to eat until I'm satisfied within the constraints of eating as healthy as I possibly can. Now, when I say healthy, that's a bit different for everybody. But for me, it honestly just comes down to just eating real food, like just staying away from processed foods as much as possible. But if I'm ever in a pinch, I understand that one day of eating slightly processed foods in order to hit my protein or hit my calories for the day, it's not going to kill me. So I understand that. And then obviously still drinking a shit ton of water because I'm extremely active the majority of the day. I'm constantly walking around, moving boxes, front facing the store, constantly moving around the sales force, selling people, etc., etc. And then obviously I train twice a day. I do my lift first thing in the morning, and then I do my cardio late at night, which is a bit against the grain compared to what everyone else says that you should do. Everyone says that you should do cardio in the morning and then lift at night or later in the day when you have food in your system and meals. But what works for me is lifting first thing in the morning and then getting that out of the way, essentially, because contrary to what most people would think, I don't really enjoy it that much. Most days I don't want to train, but I understand that in order to get to where I want to go and become the man that I want to become, I have to train every single day. It keeps me sane mentally. It increases my confidence. I always just have a better day when I lift first thing in the morning. That's literally just how it goes. And then another reason why is because shit can happen throughout the day, you know? Shit can happen throughout the day that can throw me off mentally, physically, emotionally, whatever, that could affect the lift. And I honestly don't want the lift to be affected in any way, shape, or form, because I want it to be as best as I can. I want to get in there, do what I need to do, and get out. And if I prolong it to the end of my day, there are so many different factors that can happen over the course of that day that could possibly negatively affect the lift. And if I can decrease that by just doing my lift first thing in the morning, then that's what I'm going to do. And then by the end of the day, I'm obviously mentally wiped, and I'm not going to want to do it even more than I already do. So I just lift first thing in the morning, and I just do my low intensity steady state cardio at night, because one, I don't really have to be mentally locked in as much as I do for the lift for it. And then two, it's honestly easy. Cardio is easier for me than lifting, because when I'm lifting, I am fully locked in. I am in like war mode, and I'm focusing on every single rep. I'm focusing on the mind-muscle connection of whatever muscle group that I'm training. And like I said, I'm going to war with myself. With cardio, I just hop on the treadmill or hop on the bike and I just walk, or I just pedal. Like, I don't really have to think. I just throw on a podcast, or sometimes I just listen to my own demons in my head, and I just go to work, and I do that for about a half hour. And that's pretty much my day and how I'm approaching it when it comes to the hypercut now. Calories wise, on the nutrition side, I'm going to be eating about 2,200 calories. And for reference, during the bulk, during the building phase, I was eating about 4,000 calories. So I cut my calories almost in half, transitioning from the build phase to the cut phase. But I understand that it's only going to be a 4 to 5 week cut. So I can make the sacrifice for now and do what I need to do in order to achieve my goal, which is honestly what my entire life is about. I don't have to enjoy it. I don't have to love it, but I love what the result becomes as a result of doing what I need to do. That's honestly just what it comes down to. And I think that if you can live your life by the motto of just doing what is required, like, you don't have to enjoy it, you don't have to love it, you just have to love the result that comes as a result of doing it, then you're going to be successful in any area of your life. Obviously, if you enjoy it to a certain degree, which I do. But with that being said, your duty as a man is to provide in every way, shape, and form, is to provide for the people that you care about. Whether that's providing the people that you care about's physical safety by being as strong as possible, whether that's providing for them financially, being able to provide the people that you care about with a life worth living, your woman, your parents, your friends, the people that are closest to you in your circle. That is your duty as a man. And in order to get to that level, you have to do what is required. And not only do what is required, but do it in a way that how you do one thing is how you do everything. That is one of my favorite sayings of all time. Because if you do the small intangibles that most people just neglect and just half-ass, if you do those small little things to the best of your ability, when it comes to the bigger things that actually matter and that actually move the needle forward, it's going to be easier, because your mind is going to subconsciously be like, okay, well, if I'm going to do this small little thing that honestly doesn't matter nearly as much as this other thing, if I'm going to do this to the best of my ability, why wouldn't I do the bigger shit to the best of my ability? So with all that being said, that is pretty much the premise of what this series is going to entail. I'm going to cut to a gym edit and then probably me yapping a little bit more over the course of the entire day. But if you want to follow along for this series and extract all the lessons that I learned along the way from pushing myself physically and mentally to my limits in order to achieve the results that I want in every aspect of my life, subscribe to the channel, like, comment, because I'm going to be doing some question and answers in every episode. So comment any questions that you have as it pertains to building an online business, physicality, nutrition, mindset, literally any questions that you may have, drop them in the comments. I will answer them in the next video. But yeah, cut to a sick gym minute. Fucking hell, I hate pills. Oh, if you can't swallow your pills all in one go, I almost fucking yacked. If you cannot swallow all your pills in one go, you are a pussy. So, when it comes to the stack, do I think that every single person needs to take this exact stack? No. But do I think it would be beneficial for every single one of you to do your due diligence and see what the benefits of those are? Because I'm not going to explain every single one of them. Do your due diligence, see what the benefits of them are, and then see if they're worth taking based on what you individually need. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some universal supplements and vitamins and things like that I do think everyone should take. But with that being said, a lot of it comes down to the individual. Those are the supplements that I personally need, that I know that I need, based on the areas in my life, nutritionally and just lifestyle-wise, that I lack. And that's what supplements are. Supplements are a supplementation to go on top of what an already healthy lifestyle. And I get a lot of that from people that come into the store. They're looking for like a miracle drug, especially when it comes to weight loss. That in particular, they come in looking for some type of fat burner, thermogenic, whatever it might be, GLP-1, which we sell, but they're expecting it to just completely cancel out the 99 other % aspect of their life that is not aligned
to the result that they want. They want to lose weight, and then I start getting to know them a bit more. I start asking them some questions, and I'm like, what's your diet like? What's your exercise level? Like, what do you do outside of here? And they're like, well, you know, like, and then they start giving me excuses. They're like, well, I got kids, and like, you know, we kind of just eat whatever, and like, I work, so I can't really like exercise. And I'm like, well, there's your issue. Eat less, move more. And then when you take this on top of it, it's going to amplify those results. And that honestly reminds me of an Instagram reel that I saw, I think it was 1 or 2 days ago, where this guy was walking around the gym and he was just asking people one question. And he asked like 20 different people. He literally would just walk up to him and be like, how many hours a week do you work? And every single person was like 40, 50. Some people said like 60, 70. And he's like, okay. And then at the end of the video, he explained, all of these people in here, they work just like you. They work just as many hours, if not more. So you have no excuse to use time as an example to why you cannot get in exercise throughout the day. Most people go to the extreme immediately and be like, okay, when I go to the gym, I have to spend 2 hours in there. I have to do all this stuff. And that's why no one sticks with it, is because they immediately go to the extremes. If you have never worked out before in your life, or if you want to get back into it, don't just go 0 to 100. 99.9% of people that try to go from 0 to 100 never stick with it and never stay consistent. Why? Because they try going from couch potato to David Goggins in one night. And that's never going to happen. For the first 6 years of my lifting journey, I went on and off and on and off inconsistently for 6 years, and that's why I made little to no progress. But ever since I implemented it for the last 4 years of my training, I haven't missed a single day. In 1,401 days since October 19th of 2021, I have not missed a single day of training. Why? Because I started that day of slowly implementing exercise back into my life, and I haven't missed a single day since. So now, when people see me, how do you train twice a day, every single day, 365 days a year? It's because I've been doing it. I eased myself into it from October 19, 2021. I've eased myself into it up until this point where now training twice a day is normal. It's normal. And people are like, well, how do you do it? There's no way I can train twice a day. And I'm like, of course. You, at the current stage that you're in, can't train twice a day. You would run yourself into the ground. So start and ease yourself into it. Don't start at 2 a days. In October 19th of 2021, I was actually recovering from breaking my foot, and I was in a boot for roughly like 6 to 8 weeks. So when I started back, I just started going on walks. And then I would go into the gym for literally 15 minutes. I would go in there, I would do one superset, go all out to failure on both exercises, and then I would leave the gym. And then the following week, I'd add another exercise, and then I would add more volume. And then I started adding cardio back in. And ever so slightly, I'm at the point now where I train twice a day, every single day, 365 days a year, and it's normal for me. That's how you do it. You don't go from couch potato to David Goggins. You go from level 1 to 2, which reminds me of a quote that I absolutely love that ties all of this in together. The quote goes, don't try to slay a dragon before you can catch a fish. And what it means is exactly what I just explained. Don't try to go from level 1 to level 100. You have to learn how to catch a fish first, and then start catching bigger fish, and then move on to wolves or something, and then bears, and then tigers, and then whatever. And then eventually you get to the point where you can slay a dragon, because the skills that you build along the way, going from level 1 to 5 to 10 to 20 to 50 to 100, you build the skills and you become more capable as a man to the point where you can slay the dragon.
So I'm driving home from work right now, getting ready to break my 24-hour fast, and it's always when I'm right about to reward myself for the sacrifice that I make, especially when it comes to food, I'm always the hungriest. And it's because of a quote that I also absolutely love, which you'll hear me say that a lot, is the wolf on top of the hill is never as hungry as the wolf climbing the hill. And that specifically pertains not even just to food, it pertains to every single aspect of your life. Because the wolf at the top of the hill, he has no one else to compete with anymore. on his climb and on his ascent to the top, it was him against everyone else around him. It was him doing the best of his ability, working as hard as he possibly could every single day in order to get to the top. And then when you get to the top, you see these guys with top 0.0001% physiques. You see these guys at the top of business. That's why it's so rare to see guys stay at the top of the game for years and years and years and years and years, especially when it comes to sports, when it comes to business, any type of high level endeavor. It's extremely hard to stay at the top. It's hard to get to the top, don't get me wrong, but it's almost even harder to stay at the top, because then you have to start pulling things out from within yourself to compete with yourself, because you're no longer competing with anyone else. You've beat everybody. You're already at the top. And the reason that I'm pertaining it to food is because I feel like I'm always the most dialed and the most focused when I'm approaching that 24-hour fast mark. And I've done extended fasts in the past. I've done, obviously, 24, which is almost a day-to-day thing for me, and it's going to be now for the foreseeable future. I've done 48s, I've done 72s, and it always seems that right around the 24-hour mark and then up to the 72-hour mark, the mental focus that I have, the laser-like precision and drive that I have is unlike anything that I've ever experienced before in my life. So if you want to increase your focus, genuinely stop eating. And one of the things that I live my life by is that I love to earn every single one of my meals. I earn every single one of my meals, and I earn every single hour that I sleep, meaning that I do not allow myself to eat until I have trained, 1, and 2, I do not allow myself to sleep until I have fully emptied the tank every single day of my life. And I full-heartedly believe with everything in my soul that if you live your life by those two adages, it is inevitable that you will become successful in whatever it is that you want to achieve. Now, going back to the wolf on the hill thing, the reason that I bring it up is because right now in the position that I'm in, I'm hungrier than I've ever been before. Obviously not just physically, because I'm approaching a 24-hour fast and I haven't done these one meal a days for quite some time now, but in my life, I have never been hungrier. Genuinely. Like, right now, yeah, I'm making more money than I've ever made before in my life. Yeah, I have employees that work under me and I run a store. Yeah, I'm getting into literally the best shape of my life. I'm going to be the heaviest and the leanest that I've ever been in my life. My physique is getting better week by week, month by month, year by year. But it's never enough. I am hungrier than I've ever been before in my life. Why? Because the last piece of the puzzle for me is the money. It is the last missing piece of the puzzle. My mother is 60 years old and she works 70 to 80 hours a week. And she is also a manager, but she is a manager of a hospital. And she has employees that work under her as well. And she's on salary, so she only gets paid for 40 hours of work per week. But she is on call 24/7. Her employees are constantly calling her. She's extremely stressed, mentally and physically. There's a cop driving by me, fuck. And I see the physical and mental toll that takes on her, and it literally makes my skin itch that I, as her only son, cannot do anything about it. So that is my genuine main goal right now, is to retire my mother. She only has realistically like 1.5 to 2 years left before she retires, but I want to remove that pain physically and mentally that her current job takes on her. I want to remove that from her as quickly as possible. Now, don't get me wrong, she enjoys her job. She loves helping people, and she has been working at this particular hospital, and she has worked her way up the ladder for the past 40 years basically. But the fact that she is so just drained, I genuinely see it in her face. The fact that this job takes so much of a toll on her, and the fact that she's getting older, it wrenches my heart seeing that every single day. So that is my first goal. Second goal pertains to me. I want to move out. I want to move out of my house after I retire my mother. And the reason is because I just want my own space. I just want my own energy. I want the responsibility. I want my back against the wall of having these expenses start piling up. And always do my best work when my back is against the wall. Always. And I genuinely think that every single man does his best work and performs at his highest capability when his back is against the wall. So now I'm in a position where I have to voluntarily place my back against the wall in order to get that next level of performance out of me. But in the foreseeable future, when I do move out, I want that. I want my back against the wall. Third goal when it comes to financially, I want to pay off my student loans. I was blessed and thankful enough. I went to school for 6 years. I did 4 years of undergrad, and then I did 2 years of graduate school and got my master's. I was thankful and blessed enough to have my first 4 years paid for, and I don't owe a single dollar of debt when it comes to those first 4 years. The second 4 years, I had about $42,000 in debt that I took out a loan for that I've been working on paying off. I've gotten it down to currently, at the time of recording this video, I've gotten it down to 27 since graduating in the month of May. And my goal is to have that paid off by the end of this year, by the end of 2025. And that is honestly kind of the chronological order of financial goals that I have set. I've already told you the physical ones, but that is kind of just a general synopsis of where my head is at and where my head is going to be as we progress through this series. It's going to be a lot of yapping. It's going to be a lot of training that you saw previously. And it's going to be a lot of just taking you guys inside the mind of somebody who will stop at absolutely nothing in order to achieve the goals that he sets out for himself. And like I said, I'm going to take you guys along the way. I'm going to extract all the lessons from it. I'm going to put myself in the trenches for you guys so I can extract all the lessons and teach them to you in the hopes that you can take them. Don't make the same mistakes that I make. Take the lessons, apply them into your life where you see fit, and make the most out of it so you don't have to do the same mistakes that I end up making and I inevitably will make, because we all make mistakes. But if I can just have one of you not make one of the mistakes that I make, and it supercharges your success and you achieve the same goal that I achieve significantly faster than I did because of a lesson that you learned from me, that is honestly worth it. Even if it's just one person, it genuinely makes everything worth it. So yeah, that is all I got for you for episode 1 of Jacked and Rich. Like I said, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of these episodes. They're going to be coming out every single day for the foreseeable future. And also make sure you drop some questions in the comments. I'm going to be answering them in the following episode of every single episode. And yeah, that's all I got for you. I will see you in the next one.